One thing I've realized after over 6 years of trying to grow my hair long is the hardest part isn't finding the information, but it's more so figuring out what information actually applies to you and your hair. Because I know that online, everyone has their own routine that works. You'll see someone with beautiful, long, healthy hair, and they'll say, you need to wash your hair twice a week. Okay. Then you'll see someone else with also beautiful, long, healthy hair that says, I only wash my hair once a month. Then someone else says, you need to regularly trim and maintain healthy ends. And someone else will say, I trim my hair once a year or not at all. So then the natural question is, who's lying? Yeah, who's giving the bad advice? Who's the fraud? But the question is, are people really giving bad advice, or are we taking advice from someone whose characteristics and maybe their hair goals, lifestyles, their routine, they're all just completely different to ours? I'm Celestine, and I'm on a journey of growing my hair from shaved to tailbone length within 7 years. And I'm now over 6 years into that journey. I'm past mid back length. And something I've realized is that I'm still figuring this thing out myself. I'm not just someone sharing hair advice, I'm also someone watching videos and learning from others at the same time as well. I'm seeing what actually works for my own hair. So today, I just wanted to share my thought process when it comes to all of this kind of conflicting hair advice online, because honestly, sometimes even I will get confused as well. I think one of the biggest mistakes that we make is seeing someone with long hair and thinking, okay, she's got long hair, therefore everything she does must be what I need to do. But realistically, their routine could be helping them achieve a completely different goal compared to your goal. For example, I've never subscribed to a channel where someone's entire routine is based around wearing wash and goes. Maybe that looks like they're washing their hair every few days and prioritizing kind of volume, enjoying their hair out. And don't get me wrong, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that, but that's just not the season that I'm in at all. I wash my hair around about every 2 weeks. I wear my hair in twists or plaits very often, like you can see now. And I am focused on reducing unnecessary manipulation. So if I was constantly watching someone whose routine was completely opposite to mine, I would probably feel pulled in a completely different direction as well. And it's not because their routine is wrong. It's not wrong. It's right for them, but because it just simply isn't aligned with what I'm currently trying to achieve. Another example is someone like Indigenous Strands. She has got to having extremely long hair, as we all know, because she doesn't mind having thinner ends. She's perfectly fine with her ends. Now, if I was prioritizing only length retention and no health whatsoever, then I would never ever trim my ends. And guess what? I'd probably be at tailbone length already if I did that. But I'd say that my focus is around about, let's say, 60% length retention, 40% healthy hair root to tip. So I do still trim my ends. Again, that does not mean that Indigenous Strands is wrong in what she does. Of course not. It just simply means that I want the ends of my hair to still have some thickness to it. Now, here's another area where we get massively conflicting advice. It's to do with our wash frequency. Some people thrive on washing their hair weekly. I've even been seeing some trends recently with daily washing. Some people thrive washing every couple of weeks. And then some people wash monthly or maybe less often than monthly at all. And the confusing thing is that people in all of these categories have likely grown long hair. So what does that tell us? Well, it tells us that there's no magic or perfect rule when it comes to washing your hair. But I do think that something that everyone would agree on is once you decide how often you want to wash your hair, then you do that consistently. The key question really is however often you wash your hair, does your routine allow you to keep your scalp healthy? Does it allow you to keep your hair moisturized, reduce unnecessary breakage? If the answer is yes, then you're good to go. Just keep calm and carry on, basically. Don't get swayed by everyone else's wash frequency. Don't think, oh, she's doing it every 2 weeks and therefore I need to do it every 2 weeks, or she's washing her daily and therefore I need to wash my hair daily. Okay, let's talk about trimming. We just touched on this. So, some people strongly believe that you need blunt ends and regular trims. Other people are very comfortable holding on to some damage for a while and trimming every few months or even once a year. And again, you'll find people with long hair in both of those groups. So, who's right? Maybe the answer is in understanding what you are prioritizing. Are you trying to maintain perfectly thick ends at all times, or are you focused on retaining as much length as possible whilst managing your ends? It really just depends. Okay, now let's talk about the use of a very long standing product that probably 90% of us or more grew up using, and that is hair grease. Narada, African Hair Guard, Curly Chemistry, they strongly advocate for using grease in their routines. They believe it has a place in keeping the hair moisturized and protected, and it's a brilliant product to use after applying water and or a leave-in conditioner. Then there's someone like Janet Davies and others who strongly disagree with the use of grease. Now, Tanya, who is Curly Chemistry, has lovely, long, healthy hair using grease, but Janet also has lovely, long, healthy hair without using grease. So, again, who's wrong? Who's right? They're both right. Yeah. We just have to become better at basically filtering information rather than looking for like one universal answer that fits every single Black woman on the planet. So, with all of the different advice out there, how do I personally decide what advice to follow? Well, firstly, I try not to just copy just one person where there's maybe hardly anybody else doing the same thing that they're doing. I do prefer to look for patterns. So, what do multiple women with long hair, long, healthy hair have in common? What are some of the principles that keep showing up in many of their routines? So, for example, that's things like they're all consistent with their routines, they all focus on reducing unnecessary breakage, they all take care of their ends. You see, my routine looks very similar to Indigenous Strand's routine, but guess what? She's not the only long hair natural to wear twists. She's not the only one to keep her hair stretched. She's not the only one that uses butters in her hair. Like some of the principles are seen in so many other people. But like I said, I also choose not to never trim my hair like Indigenous Strands does. I do choose to use store bought shampoo sometimes, even though Indigenous Strands doesn't. I choose to occasionally blow dry my hair and maybe even straighten it on a very rare occasion, even though Indigenous Strands did not do that in the past when she was growing her hair out long. Anyway, as I said, we can look for patterns. What are multiple women with long, healthy hair doing? What do they have in common? And this is actually why I share advice from different long hair naturals, because I'm not just looking at one person and then saying, do exactly what she does. No, I'm comparing different routines. I'm looking for similarities. I'm looking at the reasons behind what they do. And when I share a routine or a challenge, I always try to encourage people to adapt it. Sometimes I'll even suggest variations. I do try my best to encourage you to think about what already works for your own hair, because your hair is unique and you're the one that knows it best. I'm figuring this out along the way too. So I just wanted to share how I personally think through these decisions. I also want to know from you, what is one piece of natural hair advice that maybe you've heard where someone says you absolutely need to do this, but then you listen to somebody else and they say the complete opposite? Comment down below and just let me know your experience, something that comes to mind for you. And in the spirit of learning from other long hair naturals, watch the video that's on the screen now to see how I found similarities across these two ladies' routines, even though they have totally different hair types. I'll see you there.